Howdy folks, Farmer Spagetty here with another positive headline on the day. That being joy. The everlasting emotion of joy. So here we go. Let's draw today's headline. Joy. An early memory of something that brought me joy as a kid growing up in the 1980s were cartoons. Old ones, new ones, I didn't care. But the first one I remember truly loving was Inspector Gadget. He was voiced by Don Adams, who was also the character of Maxwell Smart in the 60s Mel Brooks spoof show Get Smart, if you've ever heard of that. He had a shoe phone. Anyway, this cartoon was similar. It was about a bumbling detective who was some kind of half man, half machine android with all sorts of abilities. He also had his niece and dog who would tag along to make sure that Inspector Gadget didn't get into any trouble, get himself killed. And in the end, they were usually the ones who ended up saving the day and doing all the work. And it would be, Inspector Gadget would be oblivious to it the whole time because he was sort of a bumbling idiot. Then it was Inspector Gadget's like dark, evil arch enemy, Dr. Claw. He's this faceless dude. You never see his face, you just see his arm, with this big metal arm with his claws on it. He has this deep voice, and he has this mad cat that you always see, who's also evil somehow too. And then there's his chief, who's always getting blown up by these self-destructing messages that Inspector Gadget has from him usually, but kind of a running gag thing. Mission Impossible, I believe it was. This message will self-destruct in 2 seconds, so get rid of it. And yeah, I usually did. Now, it was a real fun show as a kid, with an awesome theme song. And yes, it brought me joy. His niece Penny had this computer book that she could look shit up on. It's like pretty much the internet nowadays. And she had this watch she could use to communicate with the dog Brain, who's like this really intelligent dog who clearly can understand the English language. Now, I don't really remember this show ever explaining anything, like what the logic or the story, what the hell was going on here. Like, why was Inspector Gadget like half robot? Why do you have all these abilities? And why is he living with his niece? Why is his niece living with him? What happened to her real father? Some dark, horrible thing that you can't put in a kid's show? What happened? And why? How is the dog super intelligent? Dog has this like collar that comes out where you can communicate with the niece on the phone, which is her watch. It's nuts. He has a watch too, I'm pretty sure then. It's crazy. And they don't really explain the why. I don't think. I might have missed that episode. Like in the early episodes, in the pilot, I noticed watching it recently that I never noticed this before. Inspector Gadget had a mustache. I'm pretty sure later on in the show disappears because I don't remember the mustache as much. I like him better without it, to be honest. Boom, done. That's it, folks. Joy. Simple as that, everybody. Well, I hope you all enjoyed today's little picture and today's little headline of joy. This has been Farmer Spagetty here in the fun room saying have a good day or good night or whatever. Take care, and until next time, be joyful. Heard it, folks. Who the hell could that be? I know. Wait a second. I know who the hell it is. Inspector Gadget. Woo-hoo! Inspector Gadget.
I've discovered along the way that happiness, you live in two worlds here. Happiness is pleasure, and happiness is joy. Pleasure is short-lived. It lasts an hour, lasts a minute, lasts a month, and it peaks and then goes down. It peaks very high. But the next time you want to get that same peak, you have to do it twice as much, and it's like drugs. On the other hand is joy. Joy is the thing that doesn't go as high as pleasure, but it stays with you. Joy is something you can recall. The secret is that even though it's not as intense as the pleasure, the joy will last you a lot longer. People who get the pleasure, they keep saying, well, if I can just get richer and get more cars, you'll never relive the moment you got your first car. That's it. That's the highest peak. If you're trying to sustain that level of peak pleasure, you're doomed. Just accept the fact that it's here and it's gone. And maybe again it'll come back. Pleasure is purely self-centered. It's all about your pleasure. It's a selfish, self-centered emotion that's created by a self-centered motive of greed. Joy is compassion. Joy is giving yourself to somebody else or something else. And it's a kind of thing that is, in its subtlety and lowness, much more powerful than pleasure. If you get hung up on pleasure, you're doomed. If you pursue joy, you will find everlasting happiness. So, with that, I'm gone.